All right, well, welcome to the Daily 3.
Welcome to the Daily 3, where we write it down and make it happen.
Write it down, make it happen. Today we wrote it down and we made it happen.
Yeah. Should we talk a little bit about rest first? How the weekend went?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, how our weekend optimization plan went.
It went good.
Yeah, what did you learn from resting? How'd that go for you?
I learned that sleep is good for me. Let's see what I did yesterday. So I did this actually starting yesterday. I started to do this where I'm recording where I spend time in Toggle.
Yeah.
And I created 2 tags. One was gives energy and the other one is drains energy.
Ooh.
So I started tagging every activity that I do, and at the end of it, deciding, did this drain energy or did this give me energy?
That's good.
So it was interesting. So most of the day gave me energy. But, well, I mean, no, okay, I take that back. So in that sense, I don't know how much of rest it was. So basically 5 hours out of the day yesterday, I felt like I was doing stuff that was really draining me of energy.
Did it feel like work?
I think, I don't know what you mean by that.
I don't know what I mean by it either. I was going to let you interpret it however you wanted.
It was emotional work.
Okay.
Or there's emotional work, labor being done, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, and some of it was just work, I think, even though it was for some other, I don't know. Yeah. So even though it was for some other people, I think let's see, I took a walk though. That was good. I read out of the Lord of the Rings. That was good. I finished book 1. Now I'm into book 2.
Nice. Is that a lot? I've never picked up a Lord of the Rings book. Is book 1 like
I'm not sure.
5,000 pages or something?
No, it's not that. No, not at all. So yeah, I realized watching media. It depends on what it is, but it usually is not energy giving activity. Yeah. What about you? How did your rest go?
Yeah, it was good. I think some things I learned was how much I enjoy just doing nothing. Yeah. Did you sit yesterday and do nothing? Yeah, I sat on a chair on the front porch of my parents' house, and it's beautiful. Like they just have this beautiful yard. They have like 3 or 4 acres of grass. So I just remember as a kid mowing it. I'm like, well, there goes 5 hours of every Saturday of my life since I was 10 years old. But now that I don't have to mow it, it was really nice and really beautiful. And then they also have like a pond in their front yard with like a water fountain. So there's just like this noise of water in the background. It's just like super peaceful.
Wow.
But I think something I learned was to not allow, I'm not sure, maybe like, a way I could say it is not allow other people to dictate whether something is restful for me or not. So for example,
what did that look like?
Yeah, I think some of the other people, like I was kind of bummed that I wasn't able to just like share how much I enjoyed that with the people around me.
Oh,
they were like, oh yeah, it's neat. And I was like, no, like this is amazing. Like, look at how green the grass is and how beautiful it is out. And that this time of year, it's like, there are no mosquitoes yet. This is wonderful. And just the sun coming through the leaves and shining through the woods. And yeah, people were just distracted by other things, whether it was, it kind of felt like in the Gospels where we have the account of Mary and Martha.
Sure.
It sort of felt like that a little bit of like, we're just rushed to get to the next thing.
Yeah.
And so I just decided, you know what, like I'm going to take this moment and allow it to be restful for me and not let those around me who are distracted by work or the next thing or by their phones or whatever is taking them out of that moment relationally or just like to be physically present. I'm just not going to let it dictate like whether or not this is restful for me. So I think once I kind of gave that expectation up and let that go, it was kind of freeing. I was just like, okay, like I am just going to enjoy this regardless of whether you guys do or not, because I think this is just beautiful. And it just feels so good to sit here on this front porch and rock back and forth in this chair.
Nice. A rocking chair.
It was great. Wow. Well, it was a lawn chair, just a plastic lawn chair, but I was still rocking in it.
Gotcha. All right.
So good thing the back legs didn't break when I leaned.
I was going to say,
lean back and do this.
Structurally.
So I made it a rocking chair. But
good old plastic. That's great. Did you relax or rest any other way yesterday?
Yeah, I think...
That's good. All right. Next question.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I think, that was like rest that felt rejuvenating. I would say the rest of what I did was restful in that it like was a clear distinction from work.
Yeah.
And sometimes family isn't restful, like being around family. And that's what this is true. Yeah. And so that's sometimes hard. And especially when it's like there's sometimes the people and relationships you want to enjoy.
Yes. The most
rest. And sometimes it just doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
And so I think I kind of just recognized, you know what, like these people, they are free people, free individuals. They can choose as they want. And
amen. Yeah.
If I am trying to rest this day and they're not, like, at the end of the day, I can't make them rest.
No, you can't actually make them do anything, Mike.
Exactly. And so I think just recognizing that was good. And
that is good.
Yeah. So I think I'm starting to realize rest is less about, although I think there's something to be said about the activities you actually do or don't do, and what's actually restful and not restful. But I'm also starting to realize it is more of a posture and an attitude than necessarily the actual activity I'm engaged in.
Like within your heart of?
Yeah. Okay. Because there are times where I think recognizing like entering into this social dynamic or this family dynamic, like previously I'm like, yeah, this would have stressed me out. But for whatever reason it didn't. And I think it had a lot to do of my expectations of the situation.
Yeah.
And a heart posture of the way I'm approaching this day and what I've like planned to set it aside for.
Nice.
Yeah. I also slept in. That was restful.
Nice.
I didn't nap. I said I was going to do that. That didn't happen.
I did. I took a little nap.
Did you?
It was great.
Nice.
Just conked out cold for like 25 minutes. Then I was back.
Yeah. So I think, that's kind of how the rest went. It was good. I don't think it goes that well for me often. So it was nice to just recognize like, oh, this was refreshing. Like, thank you, Lord, for this day.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Good job, man.
Thanks, man.
Good job. How'd today go?
Yeah, today. So my daily 3 for today were somewhat undefined.
Yeah.
So I actually wasn't disciplined this morning. Didn't really kind of get my poop in a group.
All right. So what'd you end up doing then? What were the top 3 things that you got done?
Yeah. So I would say I'm considering buying a business right now. Properties. What would we call it? What is it? Property preservation company. So basically doing property maintenance and some other stuff. And so I'm looking at doing that with my sister. And so we went and met with the current owner and kind of figured things out. That was good. That would have been that was kind of my top priority of things to do today to move the ball forward a little bit. And then the second one was to go to mow lawn, basically just to go mow a bunch of lawn. And the third one,
not your parents' house though.
Correct. Yeah, definitely not my parents' house. That would have taken so long. Although they got a new mower.
Ooh.
And I'm like, of course you get this like giant 0-turn speedy lawnmower after I'm like out of the house.
Such is life.
Yeah, but it only takes my brother an hour and 45 minutes.
Wow.
And I'm just like, dude, it used to be like 4.5, 5 hours for me to do. So I was just like, man, you don't know how, like, I
used to have to get on my hands and knees with the machete and
break out my scissors and clip it blade by blade.
Yeah.
But I think it's kind of funny because my sister gives him a lot of crap for it. Like back in my day, I'm like, that makes you sound really, really old. And you guys are only 9 years apart.
How did she like the business today?
My sister?
Yeah. How'd it go for her?
Yeah. I think it's like, all right, we're excited to do it. Mm-hmm. So I think we're still in that. And we probably experience this as like guys who are creative or entrepreneurial or ambitious. There is this phase of an idea where you are sometimes dating relationships go this way. You are infatuated with it and you're like, oh, this is cool. She's cute. Let's, and you just kind of like have a very rose colored view of everything.
Yes.
And so it was good to sort of like, I don't know. I think we're still there, but it's good to actually sort of like get in the weeds a little bit more and start figuring out what it actually looks like. So today we got to do some like office work. So actually like,
nice.
On the day to day, like, okay, it's 9:30 a.m. on a Wednesday morning. What are you actually doing? Like, what is the actual work of this job? What are you actually responsible for? And what do you need to make happen in your respective roles? And so we started figuring that out a little bit today. We still talk pretty big picture. And then tomorrow we're going to get like down in some of the details, and we're actually going to like close out work orders and do some invoicing and stuff like that, just to kind of like see how all the systems work, which I think will be really good.
How do they get most of the business? Do they have to like,
I don't really know.
Okay. Is there like a salesperson or is there like a...
Yeah. So basically what this company does is there are companies out there that exist. So
I know what it does, Mike.
A bank.
Oh, you're telling me.
I'm explaining this for everyone else.
Hello, viewers.
I know we've had conversations about this, but banks they'll get some foreclosures. They'll have a bunch of them, and a bank isn't going to go in and like fix stuff and try to clean it up and stuff.
They ain't going to get their khakis dirty.
Yeah, no,
their chinos dirty.
They're not getting there in their khakis. So they hire a company to manage all of that. So it's kind of like a middleman company, and that company is going to either what they're going to do is they're going to find a local vendor. So a vendor who say they have, I have 4 houses in this city I need serviced. I'm going to look up someone who does that type of work in that city, and then I'm going to do work with them. And then there's sort of like scales and scorecards. So they give you like certain rankings. And if you do really, really well, then they'll give you more of their properties because they know that you can get them done and that you handle them and that you're not like flaky or sketchy. And so that's essentially,
okay.
Yeah. I don't know how you find those people. I don't know how they find you. I just know that like she has been building this business for 20 years.
So they know about the business.
Yep.
Cool.
And she kind of has a number of clients like that she does services for, and
all right,
we're just kind of figuring out, and each one is a little bit different.
But. Yeah, I was just wondering. I was like, I wonder if your sister will be doing that, or will you be doing that? Who talks to them? Who gets new clients or stuff like that?
Yeah, we'll probably have to figure a lot of that out too.
Oh boy!
As far as if we want to expand too, or start doing other like residential services, so actually do like instead of lawn mowing for banks, we'll lawn mow for actual people who live in their house, and they're like, I just need my lawn mowed, so we'll try to figure that out as well. But
cool, man.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I hope tomorrow goes well too.
Yeah. So am I. So I feel like I spent a lot of this afternoon, like calling CPAs and lawyers and doing all this stuff and #adulting. Right. And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I feel like years ago I would have been scared to do this.
Just to figure out all the...
gosh, I'm on the phone with a lawyer.
Oh, gotcha.
But it was like, all right, I know this is going to be an expensive phone call, but I got to get this stuff figured out. So let's come up with a plan and figure out what I got to ask him to make this happen. So
cool.
I wrote it down and I made it happen.
Write it down, make it happen.
Yeah. And then mowing went well. It was good to just sort of listen to an audiobook.
Yeah, what'd you listen to?
Well, I started listening to country music at first, and then I was like, all right, I've had enough of this.
I don't like country music.
I'm kind of a fan. But I started listening to Leading with Questions.
Ooh.
By I forget the author. I'm not super impressed by the audio quality.
I don't know if I've read that before.
He's kind of monotone, whoever recorded it. So I'm like, it's easy for me to start to let my mind wander.
So leading with questions, not leading with voice intonation.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's good. How about for you? What, well, I guess like to wrap up my daily 3, the last one was working on the basement, and I haven't touched that yet. I haven't got to it, and I don't know if I will tonight. And that's
all right, man. That's all right.
All right.
You got a lot done.
Yeah. So I got a lot of other stuff done that was important and kind of move the ball forward. I think one thing that I've learned, is sort of what we had talked about at the beginning when we defined what is the daily 3.
The daily 3.
And I sort of talked about them as like big projects.
Yeah.
And then how is it that you define them?
ADHD moment here. I have no idea.
All right. Well, maybe we'll have to go back and listen to that episode, but I'm sort of starting to change how I use them. So instead of just being like, here are the big 3 projects I have to work on today, I might actually get a lot more specific.
Did I get specific?
Yeah, I believe that's how you define it. I was like, this is how I'm using the daily 3.
Gotcha.
And actually say like, this is the thing, like this is what I want to start doing is reflecting on my quarterly and annual goals and figure out like, what daily thing is actually going to move me closer to those.
Yeah.
And that's my daily 3.
Dude, so that's genius.
Instead of like, oh, what are the 3 projects I'm going to work on today? Actually go, okay, what are the 3 most important things I need to get done that are actually going to move me towards those things, rather than just like, well, I need to run to the grocery store and run errands and however I'm doing things. So I'm sort of starting to learn and develop that as I'm doing this and practicing this. So that's been a good development. I think I'm going to tweak in my definition and implementation of how I'm actually practicing the daily 3. So,
all right.
Yeah.
Cool, man. You'll have to let me know how that goes.
For sure.
I'm trying to get better at learning how to like chunk my tasks, or just learning how to like identify a task. Just a better estimation of how long something takes versus how long something doesn't take. So, no, I had a pretty good day. I had a great morning. I had my morning routine that I haven't done in quite a while, so I did that. I'm gonna have to figure out where our daily 3 goes in my morning routine. Whatever. Yeah. So that was good.
Just because it's like not really a part of it, or like you didn't define that as part of your routine.
Yeah.
It happened for a long time organically. We're like, hey, this is kind of fun, and then we've kind of formalized it by like, we're just gonna record these conversations that we have them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So then to try to figure out, kind of like rework my morning routine to figure out where do I put it. And pretty much all of my morning routine gives me energy, which is great.
Really? So you've actually like broken down your morning routine and looked at that as well.
Yes.
That's smart. I think that could be really helpful.
I have some coffee time and I read the Bible, and then I eat breakfast. And then I started doing this actually last night after a conversation with Josh. So I did it last night and I did it this morning, where I've just started writing down just what the Lord has provided in my life, as a way, and to give thanks to Him for it. Josh was talking about how I don't know why. Josh is an extrovert, so sometimes he'll just talk to me, and it's a strange occurrence for an introvert.
People do that, David. People will just talk to you for no random reason.
I know. So Josh came last night. Yeah, I usually have a purpose when I talk to someone. I don't just like go and start, I guess, like this. I'm like, we have our purpose is what's the daily 3? Okay. So, so Josh came last night and just started talking to me, and I was like, I don't know, but it hit on a lot of the things that the Lord has been teaching me about. And it just as I think about fundraising and things like that. And Josh's main point was like, he wrote down everything the Lord has provided in his life. And just, he realized like the Lord has provided so much, like so many blessings. And so, after hearing him, I decided I want to do that. So I did that last night, and it was wonderful. I mean,
that's really good.
And I did it this morning too. And just realizing like, man, the Lord has provided so much in my life. Like, and even helped me realize too, like I have everything I need to kind of like get going, to move. Like there's not like anything I'm lacking. Like fundraising isn't keeping me from doing Grace Lead, you know? At least right now, like in the future, it might, but right now, like
you can do the work.
I can do the work. I have the access to the resources and stuff like that. So
great.
And And yeah, anyway, so that was good. But for what I did today, so I kind of
that I think I'm going to rename. So there's a practice that I do that's similar as part of my morning routine, and part of my morning routine is defining the daily 3.
Yeah.
Or the daily 3, and then having a conversation with you about it. There's some other stuff I do, like check my calendar, review some tasks, like whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But part of that is I used to have 3 things I'm thankful for.
Yeah.
And so that's, I think, similar.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think I'm going to reword it the way you're talking about it. Is like, what has the Lord provided for me? Because I think that gets a lot more. Yeah, it just creates a posture of thankfulness. I realize, like, today I wrote down God, His gospel, and His goodness to me. It was one, just thinking through that. And then the other one was my wife, like who she is, how lovely she is, how beautiful she is, how sweet she is to me. And just how enjoyable she is, how much I just love being around her. Another one was work, that God has given me work to do and has brought meaning to work and is redeeming my view of work. And then the other one I wrote was just an awesome group of friends. And then I listed a bunch of people in life that I'm thankful for, and just like, wow, these people really mean a lot to me. And then the other thing I do is write down, and I think I forget where I got this from, because sort of like my productivity system, or my system for personal productivity, is a hodgepodge from different influences and all sorts of stuff. So
both of ours are.
Yeah, it's sort of this collage of all these different influences. But there was someone I remember talking about, like, write down things that you get to enjoy today, because you actually look forward to the day more.
Yeah.
If you know that there's something that you get to enjoy at the end of the day. So one of them was doing this with you.
Nice.
I wrote that down. And then the other one was working out with a group of guys from my small group.
Awesome.
So I was like, oh, that gave me a little bit more motivation to get through like stuff.
Yeah.
When it got hard, because I know, like there's things I'm looking forward to like accomplish things.
Oh, that's cool.
So
very cool. I feel honored. Thank you. I enjoy doing this too.
Yeah.
Cool. So for me, I basically busted down my mental blockades in my head for just how I'm approaching the work I do with Grace Lead. And because I think I often am trying to, I'm trying to basically I'm trying to go through right now, like just giving up this weird thing that happens in my head of like thinking like, basically where it's just, I just condemn myself for like not doing what I think other people would expect me to do, or what like I might just see as someone thinking I should do, or so it's just like it's just all this in my head, and I'm like and I end up just being so frazzled by that I don't accomplish anything. Partially it's just partially what I'm describing is just the struggle of ADHD, of when I try to set out to do something and I don't do it.
Yeah.
Because I get so distracted here and there, and it's so frustrating to me. And so I tried to kind of create a new start on that today.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw the board. Did you see my board of all my different notes?
The whiteboard you have out in the office? Yeah.
Yeah. It was just trying to figure out like, okay, so it's a part of the for me was working on my 3-week update for my for the people who partner with Grace Lead and support through prayer or through giving.
Yeah.
So I kind of have a framework for that, and I'm going to finish that tomorrow.
Nice.
The second one was basically like, I was just focused on the website because I realized I want to do this before I really dive into fundraising more. And so part of that was, so I broke that down into chunks to like figure out what do I have to get, like, what are the different kind of projects of the Grace Lead of the website? And then, and what else did I do? First though, what I asked myself, I did a little coaching to myself. I've learned some good questions. So like one of those questions was, David, like if you created and published like this website, like what would that do for you? Because that kind of gets at the motivation. And I realized like, one, it would like give me something to be proud of that I created. Two, it would, I forget the two, I wrote a bunch down and then kind of like listed the top 3 that kind of, when I reviewed,
resonated with you.
Yeah, resonated with me. So I did that, which was good. And that kind of gave me motivation more to start doing it.
Yeah.
And so then I broke it down, and then I added it in Todoist. And then I went through and I basically identified like what would be like the minimum viable product that I need. And
what's the bare bones of what you need to launch with?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so for me, that was like and I kind of broke it up into like a mobile homepage and a regular homepage because I wanted to look good on both. Mm-hmm. So it was like a mobile front page, homepage, like a mobile single article page with where like a post will be, and then like an about page. And then like a header and footer. So like those 5 things. And then I went through in each one and listed off like, okay, what are the tasks that I will need to get done? Like to make each of these happen.
Yeah.
So then I did that through all of those. And so I feel like very good for tomorrow of like, I'm going to just start working. But then part of the day what did I do? Part of the day, I basically tried to like reconfigure how I can use my ADHD. So the question I asked was like, how do I take the executive functioning of my prefrontal cortex and make it external to me?
Yeah.
And so for me, that came up with one, like I don't even remember. See, I need it in front of me. What was it? Let me go look real quick.
Yeah.
Yes, I'll be back.
Awesome.
I'm going to take a picture.
That's great. I think one of the great things about living life in community is that we get to do this type of stuff together as far as like figuring out what does it look like, regardless of what our struggles with work are, whether it's workaholism or ADHD, how we essentially, I guess we
like,
could have just edited.
Who are you talking to?
Who are you talking to?
That's fine.
I was just talking about like the community aspect of work of like one of the great parts about this is we get to help one another with whatever we're struggling in with work.
Yeah.
Kind of do that together. So,
so the 3 big motivations was 1, I would feel proud of the work I did. 2, I would be forced to break down tasks into actionable and doable chunks. It would just force me to learn how to work with my ADHD better. Yeah. And 3rd, I would have something to point people to, that I meet in person or online so they could learn what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And so how I'm planning on working with my externalizing the executive function of my mind is 1, write a sober-minded plan for each project or goal that I have. 2, collect all requests and decide and respond the following morning how to respond. And for like my request for time for me to do something, kind of like more than 15 minutes, I'm thinking.
Yeah. So if someone is asking for more than 15 minutes of your time,
basically say, yeah, I'll basically just tell them like, what I've started doing is waiting until, collecting all of them for the day. And then I'll respond to you tomorrow morning with what I can do. Mm-hmm. Because, and the reason behind that is because why
is that helpful?
A normal person is able to, or I guess a more fully developed prefrontal cortex is with their executive function is able to pause and think through like what they have going on and are able to pause and not only pause in that moment, but they're able to very quickly do this. And people with ADHD, they don't have the, as great a capacity to bring forth both in your mind's eye or your mind's ear, basically past experiences that you've had and the outcome of those experiences.
And how they might influence or give you important information to making a decision that's right in front of you.
Exactly. And you don't also think through necessarily like what you're aiming for or
like what the goal is or what you're trying to accomplish, big picture or in a context.
Exactly. Yeah. So people with ADHD are not usually good with money because in the moment they see something and they don't pause to think through, 1, is this in my budget? 2, like what are my goals for my future? Like that I'm trying to save for a house maybe or a car or any other number of things, or
sure.
And I realize like everyone does this to a certain extent of like, some people are really good at this, some people don't, but usually when people learn and they're able to do that and have a budget, they're able to like think through those purchases and think through like, oh, I remember when I purchased something in the past and got into debt or something, I didn't like that, so therefore I will say no to this. Mm-hmm. Where someone with ADHD, we don't pause, we just go, oh, that looks cool, sweet, I'm going to buy it, I'm going to charge it.
Sure.
And so when it comes to time, in very much the same way when people request time from me, like,
it's good for you to take those requests somewhere else, do a little bit of reflecting in the content in a way that's going to reveal to you, does this fit with the time I have available? Does it help me?
Yes.
Like fit in the context of what I'm trying to do?
Because I can't pause in the moment.
Sure.
I have to. So like, that's the way I'm externalizing something that's not the greatest in my brain. Mm-hmm. Since I can't pause in the moment and I'll automatically accept, I have to automatically just tell people, no, I have to create that pause in my life.
Right.
And then I'm going to do it in the morning where I just have fresh energy of like faculty of mind. Yeah. So I'm not going to do it at like 11 p.m. at night when
you're tired and can't think.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I'm going to do it in the morning and it's going to be tough, I think, for a little bit and I think I'm going to have to play it by ear. Obviously, like, this is a guideline. It's not a hard and fast rule, but
yeah.
So that's one of the ways. And then just say no otherwise. And if people don't like that,
come up with a response to respond to that.
Yeah, exactly. Be like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So that's something I'm doing. I'm excited about. The other one that I had of how I can.
I think that will be good scaffolding for you. We've talked about that before.
Yeah.
Of like, how do we create scaffolding in a way that's going to, like, essentially, how do we restructure your environment to set you up for success and to be able to actually like achieve the things you need to? So I'm excited.
Oh yeah, I should have asked you that.
I'm proud of you for thinking through this, because I think this is a good idea, and I'm excited to see you implement it.
I think it's going to be hard at first. I'm going to have to say no to people.
Yeah.
And they won't understand why.
Right. Which I think is difficult for both of us. We both struggle to say no to requests for time. But
eventually people will learn. You just have to schedule things at least a day out with David. Okay, cool. And so following that then is actually follow my daily routines and stick to my schedule. There's this one book I read recently, and he had a great quote that said, stick to your schedule. Otherwise, what's the point of having a schedule if you don't follow it? Like, the point of a schedule is so you follow it. Otherwise, if you're always going to be changing what you're doing,
why have a schedule?
Don't have it. Why have a schedule? So stick to my schedule. And then while I'm working, something I started doing today was I close my laptop when I finish a task, so I can pick which task I do next. And that's
kind of like before you get distracted by something else.
Exactly. Yeah. And then
I feel like that would even benefit me sometimes.
I think so.
I finish something, I should go clock out of whatever task I'm on doing for Toggle. We sometimes track our time with Toggle, which is a free time tracking app software. Super useful. So
and then decide beforehand what I'm going to do next.
Right. What's next?
I don't know. That's for me is just trying to create the pause in the middle of my day. And then I have this where I say, and I worked really hard on this. Well, I spent about not work really hard. I spent like 15 minutes on trying to figure this out. I say, take a pause by setting a timer as often as you desire to end up somewhere or accomplish something, Lord willing, according to your purpose or vision. So that's one of my rules for work now. I'm going to take a pause by setting a timer. So like by setting a timer to remind myself to take a pause if I want.
Yeah. So are you just going to like set a timer on your phone?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
How frequently?
I don't know. Well, as often as I desire to end up somewhere or accomplish something, Lord willing, according to your purpose or vision.
Right in what he just read.
So the whole thing is like, okay, so to the extent that I want to end up somewhere on purpose or accomplish something that fits into my vision, Lord willing, of course, because our lives are a mist and we don't know what tomorrow will bring. But okay, then I should pause to think about that, and then to be intentional about what I actually choose to do.
Yeah.
So that's what I've done today.
I think that's good.
Yeah.
I think that's really good. I think what you have done on this day is a lot of figuring out how to work on your life and work on the systems in your life rather than just like working
in the business.
Yeah. Randomly in things.
Yeah. There's a great podcast from the Pillar podcast, where they talk about, depending on the line of work you're in, but like you should be taking time basically to have continuing education to I don't know. So I kind of usually I try to do that on Mondays for myself.
Yeah. Always be learning, always be growing.
Yeah.
Always be developing. Mm-hmm. Always be sharpening the proverbial axe of life so you can go chop down more wood.
Yeah. So that's kind of So I try to do that on Mondays. And so that's kind of felt like it fit into what I was trying to do.
That's really good. I love that. I value doing that. I just haven't scheduled it,
Yeah.
Schedule it, make it happen.
Schedule it,
that's what
make it happen.
Do. So,
oh my gosh, we're going to come out with so many books.
Oh gosh. So many book ideas, book titles, book names. Yeah. Write it down, make it happen.
Well, that's already a book, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Absolutely it is.
Someone beat us to the punch.
But you literally know what the book is about now. Write it down, make it happen.
Yeah, you probably don't need to buy that one and read it.
Nah. Any last thoughts? You get the last words.
The last words. Well, I think that's it. Let's go write it down, make it happen. We'll be back tomorrow.
All right.
Peace.